A few days ago, I made a post asking you what are the most negative aspects of the FNaF community. Since we're not going to pretend we don't see it, it's obvious that this community isn't perfect, and it's often not the healthiest either. That's why, by gathering each of your responses, we can see certain recurring points, which we'll go over in this video. First, I want to mention that today's topic comes from a tournament organized by Fast First Not, which I'll be joining unless I'm disqualified in the first round. With that said, let's begin. I don't think I need to explain what the Rule 34 is. Basically, it's content for people over 18, and in itself, this shouldn't really affect the community much, but it does when it's shown on certain social networks or websites where it's completely inappropriate for it to be there. It's not surprising that this kind of content is referenced in Facebook groups, Twitter posts, or YouTube thumbnails, and it's undeniable that it grabs the audience's attention. But there are specific websites for this kind of content. It's not necessary to show it in places where it's prohibited and inappropriate. Especially since kids can access the internet. Everything has its time and place, guys. There's a reason the toilet is in the bathroom, not in your room. Actually, it would be strange if it was there. We also have furries and shipping related to this topic. With furries, it's actually pretty normal for them to show up in the fandom. I mean, furries are people who like anthropomorphic beings. Beings like, for example, animals that have human qualities like walking on two legs, for example. And the animatronics from FNaF are mostly like that. It's undeniable. So we'll have to learn to get along, since we have to understand that everyone has different tastes. Some people might have been attracted to FNaF because of the horror, others because of the animatronics, and others for both reasons. Maybe what can be uncomfortable though, is posting certain things that are unpleasant for many people. The same thing happens with shipping. Look, congratulations if you think Springtrap and Puppet would make a really cute couple, but you have to understand that most of the fandom won't see it that way. But don't worry. Some in this large fandom support shipping, and they shouldn't take it so seriously. Let it just be for fun. And if you're on the other side, if you know someone who's a furry or who likes shipping and you don't know what to say to them, you can give them the following comment.
My dear friend, I am pleased to tell you that even though we don't share the same preferences, I still consider you my buddy and I will respect your tastes.
And it's because you, as my friend, respect mine. Well, not exactly like that, but you get what I mean. That's much better than saying,
listen here, you pieces of son of $1,000 and you damn son of a truckload of fucking idiots over the brain of your love.
Toxicity. One of the most common cases in communities is this, and FNaF is clearly not exempt from it. We can approach toxicity from different angles, and one of them is unjustified criticism or mindless hate. This can happen both inside and outside the community. A great example is with the Poppy Playtime community, and ever since rumors started that Poppy Playtime was inspired by FNaF or Bendy, many fans began to throw hate at the game, causing debates, but mostly arguments. And the truth is, it's easy to think that if a game is inspired by another, then it's stealing ideas, it's stealing content. There's a big difference between being inspired and plagiarizing, and in my opinion, Poppy Playtime hasn't plagiarized FNaF at all. It has very different antagonists, the story develops in a different way, the mechanics are original so to speak, since you can't tell me that the grab packs were stolen from FNaF, and above all, in Poppy Playtime the story is more concrete. It leaves room for theories, but not as much as FNaF does, where basically, the fans are the ones who build the story with the foundations that the games and books provide. And here comes another important point. The theories. Like I said, toxicity doesn't just happen against other communities, but also among ourselves. Since FNaF gives us big gaps in the story, it also gives us the opportunity to theorize, and through the process, countless debates arise to piece together the story, until the most accepted theory is formed. And it can be for good reasons, however this doesn't mean it's the definitive theory, or that it's not subject to change. Just remember, we used to think Glitchtrap was William Afton, and now it seems more like its mimic. The story isn't fixed, so we, as a community, should be willing to listen to other theories that challenge the one we have established. This way we can see the flaws our theory might have. However, what do many fans do? They criticize and mistreat people who have a different point of view, a different opinion. Obviously this can only end one way, badly. They start arguments just because they have different opinions. And one thing needs to be made clear, the story of FNaF is not like any other, not because it's very clever, but because we discover it thanks to the theories. If we close ourselves off to these, to new theories, to new interesting perspectives, then what's the point if only a few people have already decided the path we'll take? We could also justify this behavior if we think that some theories are crazy, or that they don't make any sense at all. Being respectful in communication makes a big difference, both among ourselves and with other communities. You might think that Help Wanted 2 is a masterpiece, while others might not like it as much. Maybe they prefer the first Helguante, or some other game like Garten of Banban, or I don't know. Let them have fun, keep enjoying what you like. Lastly, we have misinformation. And I'd like to put that in quotes because a lot of things we call misinformation are just theories we don't agree with, which is closely related to the previous point. However, in this space we can consider bandwagon fans, and I don't know what to think about this topic, since bandwagon fans, when it comes to video game communities, are those people who only join a fandom because the game is doing well. They either haven't spent enough time in the community or don't know much about the game. And this can have an impact since they can't tell the difference between what's canon and what's not, so they might consider any content as true, whether it's some VHS, a theory from 2015 or whatever. And even though this type of fan isn't well regarded because when FNaF stops being so popular they'll just leave, we need to be more understanding. Why? Some trend following fans will stay if they like the game. Often misinformation occurs because we don't fully understand the story. The same thing would happen to you with any other game that you're new to and just getting to know. So if you come across a case like that, help them with the most objective facts possible, since there are things that simply aren't up for debate, like the fact that Purple Guy is named William Afton. And for those who are just starting out, good luck understanding the story of FNaF and understanding its community. Now that we've reached this point in the video, I'll remind you of the contest topic. How can I improve the FNaF community? To be honest guys, the best thing I can do to improve the community as a content creator is to promote the values of a good community. And that's what I intend to do, not just with this video, but with the others I've already uploaded. As always, things aren't black and white, but rather a strange shade of grey. Some of you may know that sometimes my videos are about comparisons, where I might have to give a personal opinion. And in the comments, I've seen all kinds of things. Some agree with me, some disagree respectfully, others think I'm crazy, and a few call me a fan just because it's trendy. If only they knew I've been here over 2 years. But it makes me happy to think that I keep finding people who are passionate about the same things I am, that we agree on some theories, and not so much on others. I want to build a good community. That's why I want to announce that the channel will finally have its official Discord, thanks to Rubalcool who helped me finish it once and for all. So drop by my basement if you want to theorize, meet people, share memes, show off your artwork that could make even Picasso tremble, or if you just want to spread hate. Not that last one, please. If you don't feel like it, at least leave a comment on this video like I support you AYBM games, or actually I am a furry, or even just hahaha we're screwed. Comment whatever you like, but don't disrespect anyone or your comment will likely be automatically blocked. And if any of the participants in the competition are here, let me tell you that I hope you enjoyed this video and that it serves as inspiration if you haven't finished yours yet. In the meantime, I'll see you next time guys. Bye.
Escúchame una cosa, pedazo de hijo de remil p***, cada c*** de tu vida, madre. No puedo con los insultos, no puedo.